As a longtime film enthusiast who's seen countless blockbusters and indie films alike, I must say that the list you've compiled is nothing short of astounding. And it's fascinating to see how um, these movies have captivated audiences worldwide and left lasting impacts on pop culture. Over the last 10 years or so, it's become common for movie production costs to reach astronomical figures. Um, it's not unusual now to find a film costing over $200 million, which was almost unimaginable only a few years back. Uh, and so this high spending indicates studios are heavily investing in franchise movies that they predict will rake in substantial box office revenues. Yet some big budget films end up being massive financial disappointments. Um, Different sources will offer different figures for a movie's budget, so it can sometimes be hard to ascertain exactly how much a certain movie costs. Uh, Trade insiders can make educated guesses, uh, but tax breaks, accounting tricks, and conflicting stories mean that most movie budgets aren't exact. And however, the biggest budgets attract uh, the most attention. So people can be fairly confident when they are analyzing the most expensive movie ever. Um, some studios gamble big and lose, but most movies with budgets exceeding 200 million or 300 million become huge hits. Um, I might get to become again, and I'm talking about like a big moment that is this $274.8 million. And for a long time, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been producing some of the costliest films worldwide, given their massive global fan base, and that these high production costs are typically warranted due to their consistent earnings. However, unlike its predecessors, did not meet expectations with a box office collection of nearly 199.7 million. And there have been various speculations as to why underperformed at the box office. From the SAG-AFTRA strikes affecting marketing efforts to the absence of top-tier superheroes in the film, Star Wars, probably something that seems like the rise of Skywalker. $275 million. Similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Star Wars franchise also invests heavily, confident that it will typically earn a substantial profit. The majority of Star Wars films have been successful at the box office, and The Rise of Skywalker was no exception, grossing $1.07 billion globally. Um, However, this significant commercial success was overshadowed by the moderate response that The Rise of Skywalker received from both critics and fans of the franchise. After The Last Jedi took a more controversial path, The Rise of Skywalker appeared to revert certain aspects without introducing any fresh, captivating ideas. That there are Rogue One. There are the art of the 2016 in the 2016 $280.2 million. Disney's debut standalone Star Wars film, titled, brought fresh perspectives to the franchise and was a resounding success, both financially and critically. The movie grossed an impressive $1.05 billion at the box office and received an 84% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, demonstrating its widespread appeal. Um, nearly a decade since its release, it remains one of the most highly regarded Star Wars movies during Disney's tenure. In this film, we follow a band of new rebels as they attempt to infiltrate an Imperial base and retrieve the Death Star blueprints. This entertaining heist story serves as a prequel to, while simultaneously filling one of the franchise's most significant plot gaps. And someone did this. That $290 million. Over time, the series has consistently improved, with Tom Cruise performing increasingly risky stunts, more imaginative action sequences, and escalating tension. The franchise's most costly film to date grossed $566 million at the box office, a figure typically indicative of success for most movies. However, it fell short of expectations for partly due to competing against and during the summer movie season. The upcoming film is expected to have a similar or even larger budget. 11 Justice League, 2017. So that, in contrast to most DC films that don't boast the same sizable budgets as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Justice League is a standout exception. Yet its impressive 665.9 million box office earnings demonstrate that DC still struggles to match MCU's financial success. Despite providing a unique opportunity for fans to witness their favorite DC superheroes unite, the film was marred by critical disapproval, as indicated by its 39% Rotten Tomatoes score, which may have deterred potential viewers. The clamor soon ensued for the launch of the Snyder Cut, an extended version of Justice League that was finally released in 2021 to a more favorable reception. 10 Avengers Infinity War, 2018. $300 million. The epic film Avengers Infinity War was dubbed as the most daring cinematic crossover event ever, bringing together Marvel's elite team of superheroes along with numerous other beloved characters such as the Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, and Black Panther. Marvel took a significant risk with Infinity War, but it proved to be a lucrative one, raking in an impressive $2.5 billion worldwide. This places it among the top grossing movies of all time, and earned positive feedback from critics. In essence, Infinity War embodies what a high-budget blockbuster should deliver. Enjoyable entertainment for the masses and visually stunning spectacle. And I would really, really wonder, $300 million, Pirates of the Caribbean. At World's End stands out among high-budget films made prior to 2010, as it's one of the few in the top bracket produced during that time. It broke records by having the largest production budget ever, yet it managed to rake in a staggering $961 million at the box office, demonstrating Disney's shrewd decision to invest in it, with two preceding films in the series enjoying a similar popularity. At World's End was anticipated to perform well. Its relatively average critical reception mirrored the franchise's declining critical acclaim, but this didn't seem to affect its appeal to audiences. And it has me solo 8, 330.4 million. The movie Solo, A Star Wars Story, faced difficulties during filming as directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were replaced by Ron Howard partway through production. On top of that, the film didn't perform well at the box office, earning only $393 million, which caused substantial losses when considering marketing and distribution costs. And this made it Disney's lowest grossing Star Wars movie by a significant margin, prompting the studio to reconsider the future of the franchise. As a result, some projects were delayed or transformed into series for Disney Plus. Now, the Star Wars franchise is preparing to make a comeback on the big screen again. 7 Fast X 2023. But then, you know, the Fast and Furious series has been raking in huge earnings for many years now, leading to progressively larger production budgets. With Fast X boasting the franchise's largest budget thus far, its $714.5 million box office performance was a bit underwhelming. Notably, the movie that preceded the pandemic, The Fate of the Furious, made over $1.2 billion on a more modest budget for the upcoming Fast and Furious 11 in 2025. We can expect a budget comparable to that of Fast X, as it will likely feature well-known actors and spectacular stunts. 6 Avengers Age of Ultron 2015. $365 million. In contrast to the first Avengers film, the budget for Age of Ultron was significantly larger, but it brought in slightly less revenue at the box office, earning approximately $1.4 billion. And despite this, Age of Ultron demonstrated that the success of 2012's The Avengers was no accident. Critics gave Age of Ultron a score of 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is nothing to be embarrassed about. There are many movies with lower quality ratings that have made more money at the box office. So it might not be entirely fair to link the decrease in profits to a decline in quality moment. However, Age of Ultron is generally considered a less impressive entry in the Avengers series than it would be, like, yes, you know, seeing about what's going on and what's seen. $379 million following the breaking of the record for the costliest movie ever with 2007's At World's End. The Pirates of the Caribbean franchise repeated this feat in 2011 with On Stranger Tides. The film was greeted by a substantial income at the box office and an average critical reception. Continuing its trend among critics, On Stranger Tides was also the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie to receive a negative audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. However, this didn't significantly impact the film's commercial success, as it grossed a massive $1.5 billion worldwide. And basically, they're similar for Avengers Endgame in my HE 2019, $400 million. Following the massive earnings of Infinity War, Endgame raised the stakes even further. Marvel's costliest production ever, with earnings of $2.75 billion at the box office, can be described as an unprecedented success for Disney. This high bar may have been set too high for the MCU, given recent discussions about superhero fatigue, which often reference the studio's previous hits prior to the pandemic. Spending $400 million on Endgame was a shrewd investment for Disney, considering the proven track record of the MCU, but it wasn't really a risk. 3 Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. 2023, $402.3 million. As a devoted Indiana Jones fan, I eagerly anticipated the release of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny after such a long hiatus of 15 years. However, I must admit that I was taken aback when I learned that Disney had allocated a budget for this film more than double that of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Granted, I expected Dial of Destiny to outshine its predecessor financially, but it only managed to garner $383.9 million at the box office. Barely half of what Kingdom of the Crystal Skull earned Sock Province and probably specimened us Sock Province's. Number 2, Avatar, The Way of Water. The Way of Water. $460 million. Having witnessed the groundbreaking success of Avatar as the all-time highest grossing film, I must admit it was a bit unexpected for its sequel to take so long to materialize. And time and again, James Cameron has proven himself a cinematic titan, raking in immense box office revenue, with Avatar: The Way of Water continuing this trend by amassing an astounding $2.3 billion. I can't help but be intrigued by the upcoming Avatar: Fire and Ash. And rumors suggest a potential production budget of approximately $250 million. Yet, with its proven track record, it seems poised to earn just as much. The development pipeline currently holds 3 more Avatar films, which I eagerly anticipate. 1 Star Wars: The Force Awakens in 2015. $533.2 million. Disney began a fresh chapter for the Star Wars franchise with the costliest movie ever produced. And it could be quite some time before this record is surpassed. Known as The Force Awakens, this film serves as a thrilling comeback for numerous cherished Star Wars characters, while also echoing aspects from the original trilogy, featuring villain in disguise and a planet-threatening weapon. Yet The Force Awakens also presents new characters who will guide the series into its upcoming phases by masterfully blending nostalgia with modern visuals. The Force Awakens amassed an impressive $2.5 billion at the box office, making it the most profitable Star Wars movie to date and holding the top spot in this franchise's earnings history.